Hola niños, ¿cómo están? Today's letter is the letra Q. Q. The letra Q is always followed by the letter U in Spanish. And QU together always make a K sound, just like the letter K in English. In Spanish, the letter Q never makes a Qu sound like a Q does in English. It always says K. So let's look at some words that begin with la letra Q. First we have some cheese. Cheese is called queso. Queso. Next we have a special kind of bird. This little bird lives in Guatemala and it's called a quetzal. Quetzal. They're famous for their very long tails. Next we have the number 15. I bet you can remember this number. 15 in Spanish is quince. Quince. And last, we have a chemist. Chemistry is a study in science where you get to mix different things together to find out what happens. Chemistry in Spanish is química. Química. Now let's look at some more words that begin with la letra Q. First we have Quito. Quito is the capital of the country of Ecuador. It's in South America. Now the country of Ecuador is right on the equator. That's where it gets its name from. So most people think that if Quito is in Ecuador, it must be very, very hot there. But actually, in Quito, it's pretty cold most of the year. And that's because Quito is on top of a big mountain in Ecuador. So if you were down on the ground in Ecuador, it would be very hot. But as you go up and up and up this mountain to get to Quito, it gets colder and colder the higher you go. Quito is one of the highest cities in the whole world. There are some really tall mountains in Ecuador, and some of them are so tall they even have snow on the top. Next we have a famous character from a book. His name is Don Quixote. Don Quixote. In Spanish, the word don means sir or mister, and Quixote is his last name. So he's like Sir Quixote. This was a book that was written more than 500 years ago by a man named Miguel de Cervantes. And it's the most famous book that was ever written in Spanish. It's the story of a man who thinks that he is a knight in shining armor, but really he's not. He's just pretending that he is. And he goes on some wild adventures, chasing after windmills and putting a bowl on his head and doing all kinds of crazy funny things. He has a friend named Sancho Panza, who is his little buddy that travels around with him. These characters are so famous that they made a statue of Don Quixote and Sancho Panza in the capital city of Madrid, which is the capital of Spain. And this is a famous drawing by Picasso. You might remember that we talked about Picasso the last time when we talked about la letra P. This is a drawing that Picasso did of Don Quixote and Sancho Panza. Next we have something called quince años. Quince años. You might be able to spot a number in that word. The number quince, which means 15. In Latin America, when a girl turns 15 years old, she has a great big birthday party. It almost looks like a wedding. The girl wears a very fancy, usually white dress. Sometimes it's pink, but it looks a lot like a wedding dress. And then she has a very elaborate party with a big cake, kind of like a wedding cake. And they do a fancy dance with all of her friends. The dance that they do is called a waltz. And they spend months practicing this dance to get it just right for the birthday party. It's a really, really important day in the life of a 15-year-old girl. a 15 años. Today, we're going to be reviewing all of the Spanish that we've learned so far. And we're going to use these two question words. The first word is ¿qué? And the second word is ¿quién? ¿Qué means what? So we could ask questions like ¿qué es? What is it? Or ¿qué color es? What color is it? The word ¿quién? means who. So we could ask questions like ¿quién es? Who is it? So we're going to remember all that we've learned so far. So keep practicing and I'll see you next time. Adios, amigos.